Hey, this is Craver from NorCal BASSIX. Today we're going to be working on customizing your bass. In this case we're going to be customizing a Fender Squier Classic Vibe 60s precision bass. So as you just heard, that's the sound of the bass stock out of the box, running direct into a Tech 21 VT 1969 head and B410 cabinets. So here we go, let's check it out. To start with, we've gone ahead and removed the strings and the knobs from the bass. Today we're going to be putting in a pair of Seymour Duncan bass lines, quarter-pounder P-bass pickups, along with Seymour Duncan bass lines Blackout 2-band EQ preamp. So now we're going to go ahead. Now that, for the sake of time, we've removed all the screws from the outer edges of the pickguard, we're going to go ahead and open up the cavity to get a better idea of what we're looking at. Okay, we've gone ahead and removed the factory pickups and circuitry as well as the pickguard from the bass to give us a better idea of the cavity space that we're going to be looking at. Remember, we are going to be putting a 9-volt battery in with this circuitry. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and bolt the bass line's quarter-pounder precision pickups directly into these two cavities, and the screw holes will match right to the factory pre-drilled holes. Okay, now we've gone ahead and bolted the quarter-pounder precision pickups into the cavities, the pre-drilled cavities. Now remember, the screws do match right up to the factory holes. Next thing we have to look at is the fact that we're installing an active preamp system into a passive bass. Now, not all basses are routed with enough cavity space to fit all the wires and battery and everything. So a little bit of woodwork might be involved. Just make sure you have a real sharp chisel and just go at it easy. Now, if you're not sure about what you're doing, always go to your local music store and have them check it out for you. In this case, we've gone ahead and routed the cavity enough to fit a 9-volt battery with the connector and running the lines to this cavity. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the bass line's Blackout 2-band EQ. Now to start with, if you can, I want you to look at, there's a small switch located on the circuit board. This switch allows you to switch from a 3.5 to a 6 kilohertz setting. We're going to go ahead and leave this factory setting at 3.5, give us more of a vintage sound. Or you can switch that for more of an active sound, works better with the Blackout active pickups. So, next thing we want to do is we want to attach the input jack and the tone circuit to the pickguard. Now this is what this is going to do, is let us figure out the exact way that they need to be mounted in order to fit into such a small cavity. Now again, this is a tight squeeze in here. Okay, now we've gone ahead and done all of our soldering following the bass line's directions that come with both the quarter-pounder precision pickups and the Blackout preamp. We've gone ahead and decided to stick with the factory volume pot. No sense in changing something if it's not broke. And yeah, it's looking pretty nice. Now that we've gone ahead and got everything squeezed into the cavity and the pick guard is put down in place, it's not a bad idea to go back and double check, turn the volume up a little bit, give the poles a couple taps just to make sure that everything's working and no real bad buzzing problems. Okay, now we've gone ahead and restrung the bass. You want to adjust the pickup height so that you have just enough clearance when you fret at the last fret. Make sure that it won't come in contact with the poles. We've gone ahead and put the knobs. The Blackout active circuitry comes with the concentric stack knob, which is very nice. And you also want to make sure that you go back and check your saddles on the bridge, make sure that it follows the radius of the fretboard or the arc of the fretboard. Sometimes those little Allen screws can get bumped around while you're working on stuff and you never know. And the reason I say that is because next we're going to go ahead and add the ashtray cover. And there you go. There's the first few steps in customizing a Fender Squier Classic Vibe 60s Precision. Okay, now that we've gone ahead and finished the installation of the 1/4 pound bassline's pickups, we've added our bridge cover, got all the knobs situated. We're going to go ahead and add my personal favorite upgrade, the Hipshot D-Tuner. I believe this model is the BT7. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and start by loosening the E string. Okay, now we've gone ahead, mounted the back portion of the D-Tuner to the back of the headstock, inserted the tuning post in from the front. Now we can place the back portion. Remember not to lose the nylon washer. Like that. Install the tuning gear, making sure that the threads line up. Now insert the final screw. Another real important thing is to remember to put some Vaseline or a little bit of lubrication on the back side of this lever, because of the fact that when the D-Tuner rotates, it's going to be rubbing up and down this piece of metal. Okay, now we can go ahead, restring around the tuning post. Okay, now that we've finished the installation of the Hipshot D-Tuner, I want to give you a quick idea on how it functions. First of all, it allows us to drop an E string to D with the flip of a lever. When we release this lever, it allows the tuning key to rotate forward and drop down a whole step or a whole step and a half. The amount of the drop can be adjusted by this small tension screw here, which determines how much the tuning key can rotate. I personally have used Hipshot products for over 20 years and can't say enough about them, so for those of you not familiar with Hipshot products, go check them out. Very good product. So first off, we're going to go ahead and leave the amp. Again, we're running directly from the Fender Squier Classic Vibe 60s Precision. These are Zahn ultrasonic nickel strings, 105 to 45, with the bassline's 1/4 pound precision pickups and Seymour Duncan bassline's blackout circuitry, direct into the Tech 21 VT 1969 head and two B410 cabinets. Pretty much just a straightforward run from bass to amp. So here we go. First thing is, we have the volume all the way on. Tone setting, bass and treble are set flat. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea. The treble, again, all the way to the max to give you an idea of how far you can go. So as you can see, you can get pretty bright, not a problem. Now go ahead and set it with just the bass slightly increased and treble slightly increased from the 0 point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop the bass and treble all the way down, give you an idea of that range. Again, with the bass all the way up and treble all the way up. So there you have it, customizing your bass. Again, we've customized a Fender Squier Classic Vibe 60s precision bass with the Seymour Duncan Bassline's quarter-pound precision pickups, Seymour Duncan Bassline's Blackout preamp circuitry, and the Hipshot BT7 D-Tuner. So yeah, I would say if you're planning on customizing a bass that plays really nice but may not sound that well, check it out and see what these companies have to offer.